Well, it's another month, Scorpio. In fact, it's April 2015. I'm Dadhichi Toth from astrology.com.au. Welcome to those of you that are new. We're just going to briefly look at what's happening in your horoscope. You know, you can get a more detailed analysis at our website, astrology.com.au, anytime you wish. You know, the continuing movement of Jupiter in your upper segment of the horoscope, the 10th house of career, it's retrograde. And don't let many of the lay people and other astrologers fool you when they say, oh, you know, the retrogression's not good. Actually, retrogression, or the apparent reverse motion of a planet, does come with some challenges. It can delay things, but these are opportunities for you in particular, Scorpio, in your career to really expand your vision of what you want professionally, especially this month. And I'm going to explain why. But just on this point of Jupiter, you are expanding, but you're probably seeing that it's more on paper than actuality. That is going to come when that planet moves forward. I'll keep you posted on that. But the important note for you this month is the 4 planets in the 6th house of workplace activities. So Mercury has just snuck into the 6th house, indicating a complete change in the way you want to do business. You're probably wanting to clean up your act. You see a lot of loose ends there, so you're tidying that up, and that's excellent. So getting those systems in place, I think, is part of and a basis or a foundation for that expansion that I'm seeing for you throughout the coming year or two. And Mercury there, along with the South Node, with the Sun, and with Uranus, show that you may have made a departure recently, cut off some people that haven't been so beneficial to you in the way that you've been executing your work. And right now, as I'm saying to you, we have this, I suppose, a green light for you to move ahead. That involves curtailing some of your expenses. We see that Saturn still, and will be for a while, still is there in your 2nd house of finances. So frugality and economizing is the continuing theme for you. And that's, you know, maybe cutting back that overhead that is not necessary, cutting back and reducing your mental stress too with people that aren't quite on the same page as you. You know, on the 1st of April, Mars moves into your 7th house. That's right on the first day of the month. So being one of your ruling planets, it's fortified being in that angle. It's one of the powerful angles of the zodiac. It gives you physical strength. It gives you the ability to you know, forcefully push ahead with your desire to achieve things in your work. But yeah, you'll have to wait a few months there, as I said. Wait till Jupiter goes forward, and then we see Mars in its slow movement up there. Not so slow, but it's, you know, movement up towards the 10th house, where it gets its directional strength, what's called Digbala in Eastern astrology. That is going to be a very powerful transit for you, and that will come about and conjoin Jupiter, which then I believe finally gives you the opportunity to go ahead and to implement the plans that may still be up here in your head or on paper. Another important transit is the full moon on the 4th. That takes place in the sign of Cancer, another very, very favourable sign for you, the 9th house. So this is a spiritual connotation, long distance travel, and education, higher education. Many of you, if you like me, have felt a renewed interest in study and, you know, broadening your horizons intellectually. I know some schools of astrology say that this 9th house has a lot to do with, you know, higher education, tertiary education. So I'm mentioning that, but it also has to do with the spiritual education, the side of your mind that is aspiring to, you know, goodness, ethics, a better moral sort of nature. And that is where you can excel as well at this time. But overall, I see this month as being one in which you can improve, first and foremost, your relationships. You've had Venus there in that 7th house for a while, and now Mars, your ruling planet. It's not going to catch up to Venus, but still having those 2 planets there really excites the relationship side of things, your marriage, and if that's been stifled a little bit. I mentioned last month that you could expect that with Venus there. Now with your ruling planet Mars, or one of them, that's going to be even better. That's after the 4th. So that first week looks pretty hot to me. Mercury from that 6th house on the 6th of April, making a favourable aspect to Jupiter in the 10th. So these are favourable communications related to work, related to property matters, associated with your work, related to job interviews and that sort of thing. All very, very favourable with the trine aspect. The sudden and abrupt conjunction of the Sun with Uranus on the 8th is something to watch out for. That's also, that happens on the 7th and Mercury on the 8th. So a double whammy there. Leading up to that, you can expect some interesting things happening in your work. This is also a health sector, so you might not expect it. Be careful, get some additional rest this month, stock up and pop up on those tablets, those health supplements, because you're going to need that. I think you're probably burning the wick at both ends this month, a little more than normal. Although for the most part, that Venus in the 7th house shows that you're probably a little more relaxed than normal. And it's okay to be lazy from time to time, because that is also going to help rejuvenate your energy. On the 12th, there is a movement of that Venus into the 8th house. So this is a hidden and transformative sector of the zodiac. It is also one which requires research. So, when you've got the marital planet there, you may find that your partner is a little bit out of touch. You may start to see some cracks in the relationship, but this is a prime opportunity for you to delve in there, work out what the problem is and resolve that. That can happen after the 15th, when Mercury moves to the 7th house of partnerships, and your communication skills will be at the forefront. And so a good talk, heart to heart, is all you need to get things back on track. Sun moving there on the 7th as well is going to revitalise the relationship. So a lot of focus there in the last part of the month on your relationships, on your business partnerships. And some astrologers even are of the opinion that that has to do with moving or travels. And so I know for myself, I will be travelling again to Australia later this month, which I'm recording this in March, and so therefore I will be travelling during April and the first part of May, and I'm sure that some of you also born under the sign of Scorpio will be doing the same thing. The 22nd and 23rd, we see the aspects of your ruling planet Mars to the other main ruler of Scorpio, which is Pluto. This is excellent, and it gives you a lot of willpower. So if there are some bad habits you've been wanting to get rid of, now is the time to tackle that, and you can do so with great success. Mercury also on the 22nd, casting its favourable trine aspect from the 7th to Pluto in the 3rd house. And then the final aspect there, the Mercury conjunction Mars on the 23rd. That's not supposedly a very good aspect, because for you Mercury is not one of your better planets. It does rule the 8th house and the 11th house. From the standpoint of the 11th house, it is a sign of profitability, so you can expect some access to more money at that time, but it can indicate squabbles and misunderstandings. Do take care towards that last week of the month. Looking forward to your company again as usual next month, here, same time, same channel. Don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, astrology.com.au for all of your astrology and esoteric needs. Lots of free stuff there, more detailed analysis on the month, the year, and day by day forecast, along with our bank of wise and experienced astrologers and psychics who are ever willing to help you with your personal problems. Take care. Bye bye now.